Hey guys, welcome back. My name is Art. Want to do a brand new video. This week I am on vacation again. What happened is that throughout the year I accumulate a month's worth of vacation. So what I do is I take it during the fall month, one weekend. Now the thing is that it would be ideal for me to take a whole month off, but my job will not allow that. So I take one week off every month. So September I took a week off. October I'm taking a week off. Next month I'm taking a week off. In December I take a week off. Okay, then 9 times out of 10 I probably won't really take too much time off. Okay, this is gonna be a comic book style video. So what happens? One of the things that I was going to do was go through some of my long boxes and short boxes. Like for example, see this right here. This is a short box. It holds about 170 comics. Between 150 to 170 comics. I got about 12 of these. And the ones that doesn't have any bags and boards, like as you see right here, some of these, like this, I'm gonna bag and board them, and then put them back up. I'm not gonna deal with it right now. I'm not gonna like separate them right now because there's a lot more stuff I'm trying to do this week. But what I do is I found some really cool stuff. And the funny thing is that in my quest to find some cooler stuff, I'm trying to make sure I don't buy doubles. For example, years ago I bought this one. Really cool, Wolverine the Thing. I bought another one a couple years later. Don't remember buying it. So when I try to reduce the doubles, um, one of the cool things I found was my Balder the Brave. As you can see, it says the near mint. Okay, bro. If you heard of Thor, one of his battle companions is Balder the Brave. I love Balder the Brave. It's a good Viking, not Viking, Norse god style comic. There's two of these. I used to have all four of them in the past, and I'm trying to look for the other two. So that's on my list of stuff to look for. This one right here, Who Wants to Be a Superhero? About 10 years ago, Stan Lee had a little reality TV show on the Sci-Fi Channel called Who Wants to Be a Superhero? And so they had contestants who had created a persona, and they go through all these challenges to, and the prize is to have their own comic book. Simple as that. So this guy, he's called himself Feedback, won, and naturally, that's fine. One of the funniest ones was I found this one to get my Captain America 355, where he turns himself to a teenager to infiltrate a child runaway scheme. And of course, this is him with finding this child, and he's running away from this mob. It's kind of hilarious, funny, because what happened is at a request for his friend, a request for a friend, the person he's looking for ran away to a tour. Okay, she didn't really run. She just went on to follow this tour. It's kind of funny, but he found out about these people. It's kind of fun. One of my favorite comics, and I was talking to one of my best friends at work, is this one, Acts of Vengeance. During the 80s, they was trying to figure out. They tried to have like an event every year, so they try to have more events every year. One of the events was called Acts of Vengeance. Basically, what happens is a group of the baddest bad guys get together and trying to figure out why they're losing to all the villains, why they're losing all the time. They can't figure out why they're losing. So they decide to swap villains, swap heroes. So in the midst of this, they swap heroes, and what happened in the midst of all this, Magneto. If you know about if you know X-Men, Magneto is the biggest bad guy. If you follow Captain America, you know Red Skull is the biggest bad guy. Red Skull from World War II era, which he fought Captain America, and Magneto fights the X-Men. What a lot of people don't realize that Magneto is Jewish. Nazi Jew. Nazi Jew. In the midst of the comic book, he decides, I'm going to take this motherfucker out for his crimes. Of course, if you is referring to like the Auschwitz and the gas chambers and all this other stuff, the Red Skull finds him and says, we're the same kind of person. Hold on. So naturally, the Red Skull's like, "Hey, we have the same kind of ideology. You want to fight for your people, the mutants, and I'm fighting you know, the Aryan race kind of thing." And he says, "We're nothing alike. I'm gonna take you out." Wipes out all of the Red Skull's troops, captures him, throws him in a bunker with some water, 10 gallons of water. Says, "See you later. I'm not gonna kill you because that bring me to your level. Because that brings me to your level. So I'm gonna let you reflect on all the shit that you did." Takes off. So he was. So basically, he was stuck. He was stuck, in the shelter for like weeks upon end. And then, of course, the next one, this one was after that one. This one's after that one. This is the best one. He was found by his friend one of his servants, Crossbones, and he was dying. And he goes, "I want to see Captain America one last time." Of course, Crossbones is like, "What the why? That doesn't make sense." He's, of course, "Do it." I'm like, okay, so he brings him, sees Captain America. He was just about to die, and he looks at him and says, "I just want to see you one last time, and I know I'm gonna kill you one day." In the fire, he just basically become revitalized. He says, "Get the fuck out," and Cap just leaves. It's like, okay. Then the next one is Captain America on a date. This is one of the most funniest stories ever. It's one of the most funniest stories ever that I read, and this little run is pretty cool. I love this Iron Man fighting the Wrecker. The Wrecker is usually a Thor villain, usually, but hey, Incredible Hulk. I forgot I had this. I was looking for this, and this is when Bruce Banner gets separated from the Hulk. It's a really good story. I was looking for this, and I realized, oh, I got this. Awesome. So I don't have to look for it again. Some other books. What if the alien? What if the alien? What if the alien possessed Spider-Man? I like this one, and this is one of the comics they speculated that's gonna, because of the Venom movie came out last year or a year and a half ago. They thought this comic was gonna skyrocket. Kind of did, maybe. Who knows? Now the funny thing is, my friend Tony, you asked me about a comic book, and I said, "Oh, that sounds familiar." The reason why that sounds familiar, the same one. I got the same one you did. So that was pretty. So that's pretty fun. When I saw this, I said, "My man Tony, when he sees this, he's gonna start laughing because I said I told you I had this, and I read it before, and obviously I have." Next, I found this one is pretty cool. My first three issues of Moon Knight. Moon Knight's he's kind of hot right now because the new Disney Plus is making a TV show out of this. So I wonder how that's going to work. So hopefully people thinking this thing's going to skyrocket. And of course, this is in very good. G means good condition. When I bought this, it was in good condition. So that means, it's kind of cool. The next one is called the Tower of Babel. This JLA story, I'm sorry about the glare. This JLA story is so unique. Imagine whenever people say Batman is a badass, whenever they say that, they always ask if Batman's a badass. And this is how dangerous Batman really is. Backstory: this started with another book called Identity Crisis. I think it's called Identity Crisis, in which it was a murder mystery by Brian Meltzer or something like that. He was a very famous writer. Did some comics and it was cool. Um, it was about the death of this one superhero's wife called the Elongated Man. His wife, Sue Digby, she died. And it's a big murder mystery of what happened. So they went back and back and back and back and they tried to research what's going on. Then what happened, they found out that years ago she was raped. And the JLA headquarters, it's called the Watchtowers in Space, they had this guy called Dr. Light, who was a very powerful villain at one time. And then he became a joke. To a point where he became like so much of a joke, the Teen Titans, who were technically kids, beat him. And they explained why he did it. So what happened, he found her there. I don't know, I can't remember how he did because I gotta read the story again. Brutally raped her. Some other heroes like Green Arrow, Satana, and some other people found this and started kicking the shit out of this motherfucker. And they said, "Oh shit, what are we gonna do?" So what happened? Satara used her magic to mind wipe this motherfucker. Fuck his head up. Batman walks in and says, "You can't do this shit." He probably didn't catch the full story, but he's like, "You can't do this," and they subdue Batman. One of the times they subdue Batman, they screw up his brains to where he don't remember. Then years later, the way how his mind works, it puts the pieces together what happened that night. And then all of a sudden, certain people he couldn't trust anymore. So he created contingency plans for all the heroes and villains. As you could tell by that, by that premise alone, you can tell that's some fucked up shit. What happened was Ra's al Ghul. If you saw Batman Beginnings, he was the main villain played by Ralph Fiennes. He's also an eco terrorist. If you're a Batman fan, you already know who this guy is. His daughter Talia infiltrates the Batcave through the Watchtower. She finds out about the contingency plans, takes it, steals some kryptonite, steals some plans, and all this other stuff. Go back to Ra's. Ra's is about to enact his plans, and then all of a sudden he realizes, I got Batman. Once I do this, Batman's gonna figure this out. So what he does? He digs up Batman's parents' graves and takes them. Oh my! I mean, it was like you look up. It's like, dang. He just went up. He had his cronies dig up Batman's parents from the grave, took their caskets. Okay, we'll take off. And of course, when Bruce Wayne realizes his parents' graves and that, then of course he goes to Batman mode like, what the fuck? It's going all over the world. That was issue 1. And of course, a promotion, got milk. Of course, Batman, of course. The second the second one was this. So what happened was Ray says, okay, the Justice League's gonna be in a problem, so he enacted those plans. And technically one of the very few villains who took out the Justice League like that. Technically almost killed them. Part three, his goal was, I'm gonna scramble the language. He used some kind of carrier way to scramble the language in people's brains to where they cannot understand the same language or anything. So what happens without him? They're dead. In the meantime, but Batman figured out what's going on. He was like, "Oh God, the Justice League is under attack." And they said, "By who? By me." And it was kind of hilarious. And of course, the last part, Batman is like, "Okay, this happened to you guys. I'm sorry. We got a villain to fight. Let's fight him." So they fight him. They fight off. They fight him. Recover Bruce's parents is great. Dead bodies. After that, he puts him safe place. I think if I remember correctly, he put him in the Batcave itself. I can't remember. So the Justice League. So what happened was the Justice League was like, we're gonna have a vote. And some people said, well, it's kind of cool that he had some contingency plans. But the problem is he should have told us first. He should have told us first. And that's the hilarious part. He should have told you. And the funny thing is they said, okay, we're going to vote. And so what happened is before they made the final vote, he says some stuff and he walks off. Now, the funny thing is they made an animated movie based off of this. It's pretty cool, too. He walks out without even hearing the vote. He's like, he was set in his mindset. He didn't tell him the reasons why. It just later on, and they figure out why he did it. Which is kind of fucked up. And like I said, the whole story is kind of fucked up in the beginning. Now, hilarious part, everybody associated with Batman gets the stink eye from everyone. Nightwing, who's part of the Teen Titans, everybody said, well, this is what Batman did. Did you know about this? And Nightwing had to keep quiet. Like, Everybody's like, what the hell? You betrayed us. The Robin, Tim Drake Robin, he's like, oh. He was with this guy group called Young Justice, all these kids. And this guy named Impulse had the Flash powers. So was like, I'm gonna do this to this guy. And Robin goes, you can't do this. You can't do this. And he goes, why? Because you can't do this. He's telling you can't do this because he knows the reasons why and the physicals why you can't do this. And of course, everybody's like, oh, he got those hit plans too. Oracle, who was Barbara Gordon, who was maimed, was talking to Superman. And she was on the through with Batman. And Batman, she's like, well, Batman was like, hey, this is a learning moment. If they can't handle this, then they're not fit. It was kind of fucked up. The next story arc, Batman had to make amends. That was hilariously funny. It's pretty funny. It's kind of cool. It shows, when I say, Batman's kind of scary, you think, oh no, Batman's just a dude. He ain't that scary. No. He made contingency plans to take out everybody. That's a scary motherfucker. There's some other things I found. Ooh. Ah. I was looking for this recently. This Deadpool right here. Because it's hilariously funny. This is one of his things where he tried to become an X-Man. And the covers was just so hilariously funny. I bought it for the cover. Even though the story's kind of like weird. Also, this one, which is kind of funny as well. Actually, to tell you the truth, based upon this, there was like an issue series of Batman, Spider-Man, and Deadpool. Where they try to be best buddies. That was pretty funny. I mean, I looked up and I was like, wow, there's a lot of stuff I found on here. A lot of things. Some things are kind of cool. Some things are not so cool. And it kind of makes me wonder, like, you know, when they say life choices, I'm like, why did I buy this again? So, and so now let's go to the piece of the result. I'm sorry this is a long time, but like I said, when I find stuff like this, I get excited for this. It's like a passion. The Death of Superman, trade paperback. I lost a lot of my. Here's a copy of all the books that led up to it. I still have this one, but all these other ones got lost, destroyed. They made a movie of this. They made a movie, animated movie of this too. The second one they did was a lot better. It's in two parts. And the fun thing is about the Death of Superman. All right, fine. The next one was Funeral for a Friend and World Wild Superman. Those two ones, I thought I had those trade paperbacks somewhere. Maybe do, but I got boxes full of books, so who knows. But I also found The Return of Superman. This big monster. This one is about, it collects all the reign of the Superman and The Return of Superman. Big, thick book. And the funny thing is, everybody felt cheated because the Superman, within 2 years, they brought Superman back because they said, oh, he fell into a coma. If his body, receives so much damage that it could kill him, his body just shuts down and he puts himself in a coma to where it looks like he's dead. People like me bought this shit in droves. Got suckered, but that's okay. Made for a decent story and a whatever. But my piece de resistance is the Dark Knight Returns graphic novel. If you can find the actual comics of this is awesome. It was written by this guy named Frank Miller. Now, Frank Miller was the quintessential writer back in the 80s. Ever the Daredevil? He had one of the best Daredevil runs ever as a writer. He took Daredevil and turned him on his ass. Matter of fact, if you saw the Netflix Daredevil series, a lot of that was from Frank Miller's work. Even the Death of Elektra, that was all his work. Born Again as well, that's his work. Year One, that's his work. He also did this. He also rewrote Batman's origin, Batman Year One, which is also a good book if you can find it. And in fact, it was so good that people use that. They based that off the Batman original story. Now, that's a lasting. Well, another thing about Frank Miller, he also wrote the screenplays for RoboCop 1 and 2. And of course, if you saw Sin City, that's his comic book that he actually created. Whether you like the movies or not, that's a totally different matter, but he created the books, which is kind of cool. But this one right here, The Dark Knight Returns, is a futuristic Batman story. He basically, what happened was sometime the federal government basically outlawed superheroes. So all the superheroes technically retired. Gotham City became so much in crime ridden and the police is so overrun, they can't do anything. He decides to get back in action as an old ass man. Let me see if I can show you a picture of it. And believe me, when he gets, and it is brutal. Brutal. This is a brutal story. He fights the Joker again. And what happened is, Batman still would not kill the motherfucker. So what happened? The Joker breaks his own neck to frame Batman for killing people. And that was hilarious. That's hilariously funny. And then there's a new Robin, who was a girl, and so she saves his life. And after that, he's like, "You're my new Robin. Do this." Now the funny thing is, they also made an animated movie that's in two parts of this with Peter Weller, the guy who played RoboCop. That's awesome. If you didn't realize it, you might want to pull that out again and watch it. Tell you the truth, I kind of want to watch that again. it takes from this, but not totally 100%. And the funny thing is, if you saw the Batman versus Superman movie, a lot of the inspiration came from this book, and where they both go head to head in base. Like, let me show you this page. Look at that. I mean, Batman basically, what happened? There was a nuclear warhead. Superman tried to stop the nuclear warhead and failed. It nearly killed Superman and caused an EMP blackout across the United States. Gotham went into terror mode, and what happened was Batman recruited a whole bunch of street gangs to help save the city, stop rioting and all sorts of stuff, which made the U.S. government look like pissants, like fucking idiots. That's when Ronald Reagan was the president in this one. He says, Superman, you're an asset. After Superman recovered because of the sun, he says, you got to kill this guy. And that's where it came about. Which Bruce faked his own death and leads a resistance group. Now, what happened is the Dark Knight also, he came back in Dark Knight 2. So, and I remember buying that, but I can't remember where I have it. It's somewhere in my basement. And they came out with number 3, which I bought all of them. I haven't read it yet. But other than that, that's it for right now. Wow. Free Comic Book Day is the first weekend in May. If stores still have copies of this, they try to sell it for money, which is kind of fun. How can you sell a free comic? Oh, but anyway, it's hilariously funny. But like I said, this is what I've been doing pretty much majority of the morning. It's getting to mid-afternoon, and I think it's time for me to. Should I go to the gym now, or should I wait till after dinner? I don't know. Probably after dinner. I don't know. I really don't feel like going out right now because it's getting close to like school's. It's like 3 o'clock and school's almost out. But anyway, with that in mind, I'm gonna bid you farewell. Thank you for watching this video. Because I'm off, and maybe I might be bored, I might put out some more videos this week. So if I do, great, watch them. If you like this, like it. You want to make some comments, please leave some comments. I love some discussion. You want to share this video, share it. That's fine. I love that. So other than that, I'm sorry for this is a little bit longer, but for some reason, whenever I talk about comic books, it just go way out there. But other than that, I'll talk to you guys later.